As you know, it's me, JTFareeldoe, my dudes. This is the Justin TaylorTaylor Show, but a segment we call Mix It Up on Mixer. This is episode 15, titled Growth Strategy. Lately, a lot of people have been asking me very similar questions, hey, why aren't I getting, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're the usual questions, like, why am I getting 0 viewers, or why can't I get, thanks, dude, why am I only getting 0 viewers, or when I start off, basically, how can I get the people to stay? Because another, a phenomenon, or not a phenomenon, but a strategy right now is kind of this hype strategy that I've kind of dubbed myself, because I use the strategy myself, and it only works for certain people, and I'll point that out. I'll point the reason out for that in a moment. But I'll use the example so you understand. There's a bit of growth strategy going on right now, with, like I said, I call it a hype strategy, which is using current hype games, hype things that are happening, and obviously the hype zone. How's it going, physicists? So things like that are obvious, like hype things, like obviously jumping on excitements. Now, you can get immediate growth for that and get it's exciting, there's gain, there's all this stuff that you want to get, right? It's awesome. But here's the problem. They become false numbers. They can become false numbers if after you get some of those people to check you out and get some of the exposure, because all it really is exposure. It's just additional exposure. Now, the whole thing is, I'll like I always do, is I always give these silly examples of what I mean with all the, and I'm going to do it again. Think about it like this. Back to the old burgers and food and stuff like that. It's like, it's a donut maker, man. You know what I mean? He's got these, he's got donuts. There's 2 different donut makers. One has just, a plain donut that he's never really worked on. He doesn't know what he's doing. He just has this plain donut and it's not very good, right? And then there's this other guy. He's got all the dopest donuts, mad frosting, all this dope stuff, right? Now, so when someone comes to go check it out, they're going to go, let's say, and what I mean is exposure. Let's say they both get a commercial. They can only get 1 commercial, right? Now, what do? The person that's got all these bomb stuff, he can now go, no problem, let's do that commercial right now. Because and let's say a bunch of people show up, awesome, because he's not caught with his pants down. He's like, check out all my dope stuff that I have already. Look at, check it out. And they're going to be like, oh my God, I'll be here tomorrow. I love these donuts. This is my new donut spot. You know what I'm saying? Now, the guy that doesn't have that already, who hasn't taken the time to make his content worthwhile, meaning through practice, through learning, because there's a bunch of ways to do it. Obviously just doing it, like turning on the button, streaming, talking, playing, doing the dance. That obviously gains you skills. Like me, I actually actively notice skills that I learned, that's one of my favorite things about streaming, is I walked into this with 0 skill other than my natural technical skills, which obviously is beyond useful because you need that automatically. But I use my basically my own personal technical skills to just learn everything I need. Like I didn't know anything about broadcasting software before starting streaming. I didn't know, nothing. I didn't even heard of it. I hadn't even heard of OBS. I don't know what that was. You know what I mean? So basically, I'm lucky enough to start off out of nowhere and be like, word up. I taught myself, and now the things I create are all mine. And whether it's don't get me, this isn't a great showing, but whether it's a goofy little, not so good looking scene like this I built up really quickly because I just needed something for MIXIN that wasn't just my regular game screen. And I'm actually in the middle right now of trying to create and trying to decide if I want to go third party or personal. And that's another thing I want to talk about. When you're going towards your strengths, when I talk about that in a while, about focusing on your particular skills. Remember, if graphic art's one of them, use it, man. You know what I mean? Use your stuff, and don't use those third-party programs. Don't use Streamlabs OBS. Don't use Player.me. Don't use all that stuff if you have your own skills. Just create your own things. Now, me, the thing is, I'm fairly creative and I'm pretty good with the stuff, but I don't really know how to use a lot of I'm not that bad with Illustrator, let's say, right? But that's it, and I'm only a little bit good with it. It's just not that great. So most of my things look like they're homemade, which isn't bad, which has its own style to it. But I always make that conscious choice of, okay, do I take the time to have this third-party stuff that looks third-party, and then you're taking the chance of looking like other people? Because if you notice that, you can even look at, I was talking about this recently with somebody, you can look at some of the really big streamers, like really big guys that are really popular and stuff, look at their overlays and look at their backgrounds and stuff, and you realize, wait a minute, that's just overlay number 36 on Player.me. You know what I mean? Anyone can have it. You know what I mean? And literally, and you could be sitting there for days, weeks, or whatever, thinking, wow, this guy's really talented. This guy makes some cool stuff. And little do you know, it's just he just did a button press. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying that makes my little stuff like this all that great, but it's something that you have to choose. Like, so that's why I bring it up with growth, a growth strategy. It's if you're good at it, start to design, take your time, use your skills, hook it up. You know what I mean? Do it up. What's up, brother? What's up, Fire Dragon? You know what I mean? And create something nice. Or rely on third party, or rely on your own skills that grow. Because that's why I was just talking about a moment ago with my own skills. When I started things up, like learning OBS. When I opened up OBS, I didn't understand what the like it's funny. I'll look at it now, right? I remember when I looked at it before, and it's so funny how basic it is when you understand it. But that's what I want to point out to everybody. I really want to drill this home because this is important. Lots of people will get into this stuff and all of a sudden open like OBS, and at first they look up and they're like, okay, file, edit, view, scene collection tools, okay, very normal. And then they start looking through all the options in there and like, okay, that's kind of options. And then they see scenes and it's blank. They're like, well, what's that mean? Because you might kind of understand it from people telling you, but you don't fully get it if you haven't seen it yet. And then you see sources, and you're like, okay, I'm going to have to figure out how those work. And then you start seeing various audio, and you're like, okay. And then as you add stuff, it starts to fill up. You have lots of options. And at that point, if you don't know how to use it, it starts to get so overwhelming that you might think, wait a minute, I can't do this. This is difficult, blah, blah, blah. And the reason why I bring it up is, no, man, you can get it. Because trust me, hammering away, tapping away, and continually fiddling, and I'm saying just fiddling with it, meaning like you don't need to know how to use it at first. Use it like trying to drive a car. You need to get somewhere, but you don't really know how to drive yet. Just hop in, baby. Turn that. You know how to turn the key. You know how to push the pedal. And I bet that's going to be the same thing when it comes to streaming. You're going to know how to click start stream. You're going to know how to download OBS. You know what I mean? Or if you're an Xbox streamer, that's fine too, because that means you push a button. Those things anyone can do. Nighty night, sweetheart. Good night, baby. You know what I mean? That's easy for everybody. You know what I mean? That's easy. And I want to just add. I mean, go right back. Like I keep going back to original points. Use your skills again. Use your skills. If you're held back, it's funny because this is another thing a lot of people bring up. People that are the native Xbox streamers, they don't have access to all this stuff. Remember, there's things like Lightstream we've been talking about for pro members. There's options out there. There's more and more options for people that don't have computers. So that means you can use your skills by, let's say, going to your buddy's house or your friends. You get a nice, that has a nice computer, or your friend, you go, hey, help me out, and you make an overlay. It doesn't have to be crazy. Something simple, just like, hey, this is my game, or two of them, like, be on in 5 minutes, like, or if you have a bathroom break one or something, anything like that. You can do that very easily. And then you can kind of not only feel like you're on the same wavelength as everybody else, but you actually are. Because as long as you're putting forth the effort, because that's something I like to bring up all the time. Passion, right? It's a soft kill. Real quick for anybody. Some people are only listening to this, but you happen to be seeing this. I just have a couple goofy little pictures going by, just mixer style. But I think that was actually a April Fool's joke. I think. I don't think there even is an actual chill zone. I to be totally honest, I haven't even bothered to go look. I just put that there because I thought it was cool. I just thought it was cool. But anyway, growth strategy. I want to do a quick list, right? I'm going to say something real quick because this is something you're going to have to actually listen somewhere elsewhere real quick. I'll do it on a couple different places. It'll either be on my podcast or it'll be on YouTube, or it'll be everywhere, but I don't want to go into it because I need that as a separate piece of content. But I'm going to have there's another piece of content that you can listen to or watch that's basic, that I'm going to name it something different, but it's basically, it's a short list, JTFareeldoe short list of self-asked questions. Yeah, I thought so, exactly, Psycho Poo Boy. Basically, it's going to be like 5 or 6 questions that I feel every streamer that's starting off that asks me the same questions, basically, instead of answering the same questions in the same manner, I want to go, you know what, bro? I want to help you out, and I'm going to give you 6 questions. Like I said, about 5 or 6. I got to write it out nice. I got some great ideas. I'm going to write out 5 or 6 questions that they can ask themselves, like, why, like, what value am I providing? I'll give you a little example of what I mean. What value am I providing? In saying that, why do people want to come see it? And also, would you see it yourself? And that also can be one question. That's why I say like about 6. It's gonna be a couple of very specific questions. And also, what are my skills? Because you really need to answer that question and take that time. Because until you've answered those questions yourselves, you really shouldn't be popping in other people's streams and saying like, hey man, why aren't I getting views and stuff like that? You know what I mean? Because it's like, well, that's fine. You might get to that point where you're like, shoot, I just need some third party and outsource information to help me out. But before you go to that, make sure you've truly delve into yourself and look into your own skills, you know what I mean? And your own passions. Because that's actually one of my main things. One of my main, like I said, lists. I have a list, growth strategy, certain things. Passion. It's in the top of the list. And that's actually part of people I want on my team and in my crew. Why, dude? Because passion to me is almost like 90% of the game, or 80%, because you do need the skill. But the thing is, with enough passion, you can learn the skill and earn the skill. Because I bring this up and I mention it all the time, and I was explaining a moment ago. I often will go into things, like I said, without any knowledge of it, just going, okay, time to do it. Like I said, like jumping in a car without learning how to drive yet, and just so you can get to your point B. And it's just like, all right, man, let me turn on OBS, or let me turn on this new bot. 'Cause I started with ScottyBot, now I use ScortBot. And I remember when ScortBot was this daunting, insane process with a million tabs that I didn't even understand were tabs, and it was crazy. Never fully, I mean, I did now, but it took me, at the beginning, for the first couple of weeks, I never fully grasped it until all of a sudden, after fiddling, talking to people, asking people things, watching YouTube videos, all that stuff. Sorry, I can't see that. I'm going to need to put a thing up there. Sorry, my dude. All those things, my internet quality is not the greatest, no doubt. No doubt. That's something I can't cover, obviously. That, like, I wish I could. Meaning your internet quality isn't the greatest, so that's the reason why you're not getting a lot of follows. That's a bummer, my dude. But the one thing I could say, because I mean, that goes into a whole level of tech stuff that you might need to teach yourself more about. Like you need to know a lot about. But it might be something like you could fiddle with your bitrate. You know what I mean? Fiddle with your quality. Make sure you're not putting out at 1080p. Go 720. You know what I mean? You might be able to fiddle around and get a better quality doing that. But back to what I was saying before with the passion. I mean, you want somebody that that thinks, hey, streaming sets me on fire, baby. You know what I mean? Bro, sitting down and getting down with my homies and building a crew and playing to a certain, like I don't play just to win, which is nice. We've got 3 wins today on Fortnite, but I don't play just to win. I play also to entertain. As you notice, I'm always picking up the meme bombs. I talk about this all the time. And that goes into that growth strategy. You can play, now, don't get me wrong, high wins is also a strategy. That is. But if you're playing in the mid-level range or you don't really have the time, because I don't have the time to try to get that 1,000 win. I just don't have those hours. But I'm good enough to crank out wins and stuff. So I compromise. I grab wins and I play, and I also play with random homies too. I play with my team guys, but I also play with random people, and it's great. So there's a nice variation, but I don't have that extreme level of wins. So I go for those entertaining wins, those entertaining kills. And sometimes it's not even high kill amounts. I just try to get one crazy kill because in the end, that creates that great clip. It creates a great moment. It's memorable. You know what I mean? Someone won't mind watching a camp for a couple minutes if it ends with like this meme bomb in the air 360 spin where you tack the guy but it doesn't finish him off, and then you meme bomb him off a ledge. You know what I mean? And you're like, it's worth it. You know what I mean? It's right. It's funny. You know what I mean? It's worth it, and that's what I'm saying. You can tailor your gameplay, your show. And trust me, I'm assuming most streamers right now are streaming games. Obviously, we can talk about IRL streams, creative streams, all that stuff. But right now, most of the time, I'm going to assume we're talking about gamers. So just so you know. So when you're doing your let's say you're playing PUBG, you're playing Fortnite, you're playing anything. Remember that you're also putting on a show and having a higher quality show and more excitement and more skill and more exciting moments on it. It's like a blooper reel or an excitement reel, in sports. A lot of people like that good stuff. That's why the hype zone's popular. And that's also why right now, a growth strategy, like I went back to it, the hype strategy one that I use is something I looked at, right? There's one obvious fact of, hey, look, the hype zone, when you get hyped, a lot of people see you and you often get a few follows and stuff. Word, right? That's obvious. Everyone knows that. You don't need to have secret knowledge to know that. Blah. But this is what I see a little bit beyond that. I see Mixer all day long, and I mean all day, on Facebook, cranking out the money, putting out, come to the hype zone, check it out, advertising. All day, bro. All day, every day. So guess what that means? Guess what that means? Think about it like this, because I'm telling you, if you hadn't thought about it, you're gonna kind of be like, yo, JT, no shit, that's actually genius. Because think about it, every time I'm zoned, now trust me, you need to have quality content, otherwise this doesn't work. So please don't think this is like a secret trick where that's a win all. You have to be entertaining or have something afterwards. Like I said, it's back to the donuts. If you only have the plain donuts, it doesn't matter if you get a bunch of people coming into your store. No one's going to care afterwards and everyone's going to leave. So remember that too. You got to have dope donuts. You need to have that frosting. You need to be delicious. So after you're delicious, then you can use these additional strategies, these exposure/hype strategies. Now, back to what I'm saying, the hype zone. You can get in there and get a bunch of people seeing you. But like I was back to the advertisements. If I'm in there and I'm hype zoned, guess what just happened? All that advertisement, paid advertisement from Microsoft is actually advertising people to my stream specifically. What's it for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes? It doesn't matter. That's gold money advertisement. You know what I'm saying? Because think about it. At the beginning, it was random people, like PUBG. That's why I like Fortnite way more. Because PUBG has a lot of old school people just watching it. Yeah, don't get me wrong. There's tons of new people pouring in every day. But it's made up of a lot of old school people that have already watched it. Fortnite is different. Half of the hype zone, if not more, is new people that are brand new. Now, since I help new streamers, I do an entire vodcast that's about like this. I do this vodcast. I go out of my way to put out additional resources to help new guys. Since that's part of what I do and part of the value and part of the relevancy of my stream, my broadcast, and my whole brand in general, and my team, since that's something that's available, that's a huge value to the new people that are brand new. And think about all the amount of people that want to broadcast. That's a whole nother side topic. We'll talk about that another time. But all those people that want to broadcast and the people that are just thinking, hey, I want to get into it, and that are new to Mixer, they're seeing it because they just click that Facebook ad and stuff like that. So if they've now walked in, they're seeing this entertaining thing, and guess who? And obviously they're going to catch all these people, and some people aren't cool, some people are, and that's why I think people like me, it's really great. Like, they really should be putting in the hype zone, because think about it. Like we were talking about earlier, there was this toxic guy that was kind of a jerk. I was hearing, I didn't get to see it myself, but I just was told about this. That was like, if you don't follow, you suck. I better win. And it was like a jerk, whatever. And he got in the hype zone a couple times. Now, all I can think of is, how is that helping new user acquisition? If all the new people that are like, hey, what's this hype zone? I love PUBG or Fortnite. What's this thing? And they go in from Facebook, and bam, it's describing like follow or just leave, dick. And you're like, what? Oh, thanks, man. That's awesome. I and that's what's really cool, Pool Boy. A lot of people remember me like from a few months ago. Well, months ago when I started, a little bit more than a few. But yeah. But you know what I'm saying? It's like it's different. But anyway, before I get too much on that, before I get too much off, I mean I made my point obviously, but let me go right down the list. I know this sounds ridiculous, but be cool, baby. What's up, Blue Dragon? Be cool, baby. Be cool. It sounds silly, but like I said with that guy in the hype zone, if you're not cool and chill, and you're that, hey, screw you, you're not only going to scare away your own guys, and your own community, and your own crew. Let's just ban that guy. Let's get that out of here. Ban. You know what I mean? Instead of that, sorry, somebody's being silly. If you can't do that type of thing, you're not going to get anybody to stay. It's if you're abusing your homies, that's obvious, but it sometimes needs to be reminded. And you can be chill or hype. That's the thing. And that goes to exactly what I keep saying: is find your thing. You know what I mean? Find your skill, find your niche, find your ability, find your skills, find your goals, find your passion. And what I call it is your spark or your fire. You know what I mean? Sometimes I see someone, I'm like, yo, that cat right there, that cat's got spark. He's got a spark, and I think he's gonna go somewhere. It's like me. I think that's what a lot of people have seen in me. They're like, dude, that guy's got this little fire in him, and he's gonna go somewhere because he's gonna push. He's gonna keep pushing, and he loves it, and I do. It's true. And sometimes you see people like that, network. Yeah. So anyway, you want to ask? Like I said, separate time. Those questions you need to ask yourself. We'll go into that in yourself, but I gave you enough examples so you understand what I mean. There's a lot of questions you need to go through to find that thing, but when you do, push into it. If you realize, you know what, dude, I'm funny. Like, one thing I'll notice, I'm pretty funny, And I didn't think of myself as that. I just consider myself like, yeah, dude, I'm a good gamer, so like people are here to see my gameplay and stuff. But it ended up turning into different stuff, which is great. People ended up liking hearing my rant sometimes a lot. I get lots of messages just being like, dude, when all of a sudden, not when I get like angry or whatever, but you know what I mean, when I get into this like, dude, this is crazy, and this is the deal, and yo, that guy's crazy, what's up? Like, oh, he's savage. Like, people started to like that. I didn't know that people enjoyed that until I started getting messages, yo, I love that crazy rant. Or like when I started talking about some people would be like, oh shoot, there's another rant's about to start, and like it was a thing, you know. And I was like, oh well, that's kind of cool. Okay, well, I instead of making it too much like rant style, I tried to pull back a little bit and then create something which kind of created this. You know what I mean? It kind of created this vodcast right now, which I'm glad. I like how it's turning out. I like how it's going, and I've gotten quite a few bits of feedback right now. And at least, well, how about this? Even though it's just, you know, it's only, you know, it's a handful of people, but it's, to me, that is like so much more than enough to really keep going, baby. Because the fact that I've helped one person with this, that's worth it, because that means I'll help more. If one person was like, yo, this is great, I'm now getting either I've come to grips with something, because sometimes it's that. Sometimes people just need to get like, hey, this hey, this is for you. You need to work harder. This is great. Or this isn't for you. And sometimes people need to hear it, but this is what's cool. This is what's awesome about this new world, too, that we're in. If all of a sudden you realize, hey, wait a minute, I'm not really a streamer, but I love this. I want to be a part of this world. I want to be a part of this gaming world. I want to be a part of this new gaming revolution. I want to be part of this, but I'm not a pro gamer. I'm not a crazy entertainer, but you want to be part of it. I get that. And what's amazing is you don't have to be Mr. Hype dude like me. Like, yo, what up, everybody? Let's get it in. Word. You know, like, word. Not everybody can do that. I get that. That's just my personality. I'm like that anyway. So it's natural. So if that's not you, that's fine. Because, dude, we need, like I need a graphic artist. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying that, you know, I'm just saying that, like, as a random thing. Like my homie over there, he needs a music guy. My homie over there needs somebody to tweet all day for him. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, there's help and community and all kinds of stuff, like even each individual streamer essentially needs a good team behind them, or they'll never truly find a you know, their footing. You know, you need a nice team behind you. You know, some people try to do it alone, and some people try to get too big of a team. That's individual, and I'm not even gonna get into that, because that's there's no way I can understand each person's individual skills to really comment on that. Anyway, your passion, baby. What sets you on fire? I mean, I said it before, but that's what you find after you figure out your skills. Because your skills might not necessarily line directly up with your passions. You know what I mean? You might be like, wait a minute, I'm a dope, you know, like I was saying a second ago, maybe you're a really dope graphic artist, but you're just not an entertainer, and you're not really good on cam, you know, or even off cam, because that's a whole other thing too. I get some people don't like cam, and that's fine. We've covered that already, actually. We covered that last episode. So if you're kind of like, hey man, I really want to hear a little bit of debate about cam and non-cam, actually the past two episodes, I'm pretty sure 13 and 14, we have special guests that we talk about that in both of them. So I won't cover that, because we've literally talked the heck out of that, and that's fine. Okay. Back to growth strategies, too. But I don't want to get too far off of it. Understanding directories is key, and I don't think enough people understand that yet. I think there's people on Twitch that they're like old hands of it. They're like, yeah, dude, of course. They're like, they're like, watch this. And people pour into the directory, and they just know how it works. They know the time frame that people show up. They know the time frame to leave. They know what games are going to be hot, what games are not, all that stuff. Some people are good at it, some people aren't. And on Mixer, people are still kind of like getting it. Some aren't, some aren't. Some are and some aren't. Which means right now, that's a strategy point. It's a weak point. It's a chink in the armor. It's another one. It's another one. Like I said, I see these. This is why I get a really, like, I have gotten such immediate return, immediate growth, is not only do I fit the criteria of having a charisma and being a bit entertaining and playing, like, I mean, I got 3 wins today. I mean, obviously I had some help with some, but you get it. I mean, I also play very well, even if it's non-fighting games. I'm a good player. People want to see that. Now, if you fit that criteria, then work on the luck factor, obviously, because you can't. It's kind of like scratching a ticket, right? Sure, you might scratch, you might become a millionaire, but you probably have a better chance with 10 tickets as opposed to 1. I mean, you know what I mean? Just because simple math. So it's just like the more you stream, the more you put yourself out there, the more you do it, the more chances you're gonna come up nice. You're gonna come up hot, or you're gonna scratch that. Hey yo, I got featured, or I got homies showing up, or I got because. And obviously through the normal, genuine, organic style of networking, you may stumble upon some of the most amazing things that make your entire streaming career. And it's actually very likely that that's what will happen. You know what I mean? You have that just through eventually meeting someone that you dig and that you have a good rapport with and you like talking to, and all of a sudden they have some sort of success and they share it with you and you share it back, and it becomes this really great win-win relationship. Because right now, that's another thing I love about the world of streaming right now and broadcasting. There is a lot of win-win situations you can put yourself in. You know, a lot. Like it's easy to be like, hey man, want to work together on this? And it's just like, yeah, awesome. Like I get exposure, you get exposure, you get good, both people get good content. Like I've been putting out lately. I was gonna do it tonight, but I didn't want to cobble it together too last minute, and it become noticeably a weak episode. So I decided, you know what, I won't have a special guest tonight, and I will just do this myself because I know I can keep it going clean, fast, and concise, and get a nice piece of content here without having to worry about I didn't prep somebody well enough, or I didn't give them a list of some of the topics or anything. You know what I mean? I like to have a slightly professional level style of podcast, because I know my previous episodes before even 10, they're ragged, and that's to be assumed. Everyone, that's like every show. Even my thumbnails are just like random pictures. You know what I mean? But that's how it goes. That's how it goes. You build, and that's part of my thing. I found one of my strengths. I didn't realize that this is something I'm pretty good at. This is something I enjoy, and this is something I can cross create content for very easily. Like, for example, right now, guys, this is another growth strategy. Putting yourself as many places as possible. We can cover Restream fully on another, because there's pros and cons to Restream. I'll do a quick mini example of a pro to Restream, obviously, is the exposure everywhere. But the con is if you already have a community, you risk spreading it thinner. Like, for example, let's say you put yourself on Facebook, YouTube, Mixer. All of a sudden, your community of 100 people, let's say, that come to see you, all of a sudden go, oh, dude, it's easier to just click YouTube because I'm on YouTube. And all of a sudden, instead of having 80 people in your Mixer, maybe 100, you have now 80 because 20 are over here. You know what I'm saying? So remember, there's pros and cons, and it's very easy. It's actually happened to me already. When I had I think 15 people, I was like, hey, cool, we're watching and Mixer. And then all of a sudden I looked over, I saw on my little thing that 2 people, two was something great, but 2 were in YouTube, and I was like, oh shoot, and I went and looked, and they were people who regularly watch a Mixer. I went, oh shoot, because I'm spreading myself out, it's actually making my growth seem slightly smaller, which it wasn't, because having 17 people in a room within the first hour is actually very good. It's very, very good. That's an extreme sign of growth on Mixer, because Mixer's user base isn't as big right now, but that's again, that's a whole nother subject. So anyway, taking your time to understand your main directory should be your first thought when trying to master the directories, the algorithms, how they work, how other streamers work within them, the time frames, all that stuff. In order to begin thinking of that, the first thing is your main directory. Are you a Fortnite streamer? And I'm going to tell you right now, I hope you're not. Because if you're brand new, like if you're starting this month, if you're like, dude, I started a couple weeks ago, please don't be a Fortnite streamer. Unless you're showing up even though as much as I dislike this, and because the journalist in me has to say something, even if I dislike it and I'm not agreeing with it, there's no way I'm going to just hide it, because that's scumbag crap, and I'm all against fake news, and I'm not about hiding the truth, even if it doesn't help me. So, although all the people coming from Twitch that have a large community already will find a lot of success over here on Mixer. As much as I dislike that, and I find it very unfair. But that's beside the point. I just have to say that, yes, that's so funny. Worthier, and it's funny, I still do. It just fluctuates. And what happened is when I took my 2 weeks off, it's funny that you say that, because like a couple months ago, I did always have 25 to 30 people, like every single time. And now it's more like 15 to 20. And of course, but the thing is, now sometimes I'm up to 70, sometimes 50. That's the difference. So sometimes now, back then, it was rare that I ever got the high numbers. I would peak at 30 and never, ever go beyond it. That's the thing about then. But I had it all the time. Now you know what also happened back then too, is I would wait hours for it to happen. What's really cool now is when I click stream, usually I'm over 10 within minutes, which is great. Like I said, on Mixer, that is great. And what I've noticed lately, and actually it's very nice actually, it makes me feel real good, is I've noticed lately, I've been looking in other streams, especially some really big time streams, like some really heavy duty guys that are partnered and stuff, and they're playing Fortnite, stuff like that. Usually the guys that had 100 a couple months ago, they got 10 people. They got 12. Like that's why I don't even slightly, even remotely go like, oh man, our numbers are going down. Because honestly, they're not. In comparison, I think we're going up. Because it's kind of like this. It's like everyone was 100, right? And I was at 30. And then all of a sudden those 100 dropped down to like 10. And I dropped down to like 20. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I think that I'm the turtle in the race against the hare. And I'm about to whoop that ass. You know what I mean? I think that's I'm there. I'm on that last lap, and I'm like, yeah, dog. I've been walking this whole time, bro. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I think that's what's up. I truly do. And like I said, don't think I'm talking myself up because this is just truth. But I called this at 1,000 followers. I said, you know what, guys? When we hit 3,000, we're gonna see some extreme momentum. Extreme, to the point where I think it'll only be a few months after that we will start getting close to 10,000 and possibly partnered. Now it was only a month ago or weeks, like 4 weeks or so. So like that's a month ago now that we hit or not even. I think it was like three weeks or something where we hit 3,000. We hit 3K, and now we're already almost 4.3. You know what I mean? It's you know what I mean. It's like it's exactly like I said. It's everything that I said. That's another reason why a lot of people. How's it going, Jackie? That's another reason why a lot of people, listen to what I say, and not meaning like listen to what I say, like meaning like take my advice is what I meant. Because that sounds a little aggressive. What I meant is people take my advice, because the things I talk about, I'm generally right. I'm generally right. When I make these these long theories and these long thoughts, these what's the word I'm looking for? Theory, I guess. But when I guess at these things, it's always right, man. It's always like it's almost dead on right. So I'm basically, since that keeps happening, I'm doubling down on me. You know what I mean? I'm doubling down on JT, because I'm like, what I'm doing seems to be working. The choices I've made seem to have been the right ones. I don't think I've made very many mistakes compared to the amount of successful maneuvers I've made since starting. I'm gonna just keep at it and double down on me, because I believe, and there's a lot of people out here that believe in me, and that really helps, man. Keep her going, baby. Absolutely, keep her going, and I will, and what helps is you guys. You know what I mean? It's true. It's and it doesn't even sound cheesy because it's just damn true. Is the homies showing up all the time? It's like okay, word. I'm here for a reason. These aren't fake. Like that's the thing with the fake numbers and the fake hype stuff. It's like who wants to go to Hype Zone a million times and they go, oh wow, they built up all the way to 5,000 followers, all Hype Zoned, and they get no one showing up. You know what I mean? Right? Oh, Jackie, I played all night. I've only stopped. It's only been 30 minutes. I stopped about 30 minutes ago. I'll be going on for about, who knows, maybe another 10, 20, 30 minutes or something like that. Probably not much too longer. On Thursdays, I always do episodes of MIXIN. This is episode 15. Every Thursday, I always stop at one point during the show. I'm trying to decide an exact time. The only reason why I don't want to have an exact time is because I want to have special guests, and I know some people will be like, "Whoa, 10's crazy, but 12 is fine." So, either way, we're don't worry. I'll be playing some more Fortnite later. It's just that I took a break to do the podcast, or like I say, video podcast. Am I getting State of Decay 2? We can talk about it a little later if you want, bro. But yeah, I have the Game Pass. So I'm just going to wait until the 22nd. I believe it's the 22nd where we can play it for free. So I have the Game Pass. I'm pretty sure I'm just going to wait for that. Plus, you guys don't know about this because you guys started meeting me around Battle Royale time. But I'm a zombie game player. Like that's once Battle Royale starts, starts to become just a daily thing, but it's not like the main big thing. We'll be back. We'll be playing lots of zombie games. Like whenever's hot, in a good zombie game, we'll be playing it, because that's my Like, that's my stuff, dude. That's some of my favorite style games. I played them all, too. I've played them all. I beat them. I played and beat them right before I started streaming. You know what I mean? I played all the Dead Risings. I played Dying Light and even, you know, both Left 4 Dead. All of them, man. All of them. What's the... Dying Light, right? What's the other one? Obviously State of Decay. But what's the... Yeah, Dying Light. The one where you jump. No. On Black Ops 4, I don't want to go too far into games right now, just because otherwise we'll just talk about that. I want to stick to my growth strategy, and we can talk about games right afterwards. Just let me finish up on the podcast. So back to the growth strategy. Just like I said, I wanted to give a couple, like 5 or 6 main tips here, because a lot of people have been asking this directly, like, "Yo, JT, how do I do it?" You know what I mean? Or like, "Where's some strategies?" And I want to give them some basics to create their own. You know what I mean? I'm trying to give some blueprints or a bit of framework on how to design your own strategies. And I feel like that is such a useful and valuable resource that nobody is really providing, and which is what I'm trying to do with this podcast. So right now, in this episode in particular, that's why I've been explaining things in the way I have been. I've showing my reasonings to why I do these things. You know what I mean? Like I said with the Hype Zone, the reason why it has advertising behind it. But remember, you can't really gain off the Hype Zone without also having, like I said, the good donuts. You know what I mean? You need to have the good value to keep the people. Otherwise, it becomes a fake number. But I've already said that. We won't go into that too much. When you find something that works, pour everything into it. Whether it's like I was talking about with the zone, or whether it's your skill. You go, wait a minute, you know what? I really have a flair for scene design on OBS. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying me. I'm saying, let's say you do. You know, all of a sudden you go, whoa! I was messing around with OBS and I noticed it's really quick to add these, you know, images and put these designs up, and it really looks really easy. And I start blending my GIFs with my images, and it just looks sexy, and it's dope. D-nuts. You know what I mean? It's just like, word. And you know what that means if that happens? That means you need to be the scene king. You need to be the guy that has 500 scenes all lined up in his stream deck. That you're like, yo, what's up, everybody? Boom! The scene changes behind you, and you're flying through space. And you're like, it's me coming from space, because I'm about to land up in your bedroom. Boom! And the scene switches, and you're into your bedroom, and you're like, what's up, everybody? We're playing Fortnite. Oh, shoot! I'm actually in Fortnite. Button switch. You're in Fortnite, and you're like, yo, gotta talk, you know what I mean? Be that guy. You know what I mean? I'm literally right now, I don't have this. I didn't plan this. I didn't script this. This is just an idea off the head. But that's actually not a bad idea. You know, that's a joke idea, but that's actually an okay idea. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying I would do it because it doesn't work for me, but it might work for you. You know, and that's what I mean. What if you're the scene, you know, and I know it's funny too, because I like to make jokes and make my points funny, because I feel like that creates another value point to my podcast. But I'm serious. As much as I joke and I'm like, yeah, I'm serious. Like, you know what I mean? That's something. Doesn't it though? It does sound kind of dope, because it would be. You know, being the scene guy that, like, you know, that has so many scenes. That means someone's. You know what that might mean? Someone's like, dude, I like seeing the scene. It's kind of like when someone comes to me. They tell me all the time, I like coming by because after I joke around and chill, not only do I get to watch a game I like to see, but I laugh a bunch because one of you talk trash. Or you just like when I'm riffing or just doing my thing. People generally think it's funny, so they're like, "Oh, cool! I'm getting this double value. I get to watch this gameplay. It's fun. I enjoy like, you know, people enjoy hanging out with me because I enjoy hanging out with them. It's like hanging with your friend. It's because that's what it is. You know what I mean? It's an easy experience because it's real. You know, it's like I'm excited to see everybody that comes here, and I hope they're happy to see me, and that's great. That makes everything organic and real, and that's another thing that's good, because if you don't have that, it creates a barrier between your community, and that I don't even know that I can't help you with, because that's a social barrier that's a level of human psychology that there's no way I could possibly like explain or even remotely help with through a podcast, and not understanding the person individually. And even that, I mean, it's crazy to even think I could. But anyway, finding that something that works, pour everything into it. Like I said, whether it's a strategy or a skill, because I want to make that point very well too. You know, if you use the previous things I was talking about, and you go, hey, like I said, you're good at scenes, or hey, you're an amazing game player, pour everything into it. So another example, let's say you're the dopest game player, you're Mr. Fortnite, let's say you're Mr. Monster Hunter. You're so high level and you've killed everything and you have all this stuff. Make your have a scene and have an overlay that's Monster Hunter wise. It'd be like, check it out, I am the Monster Hunter. I am the hunter. I am the monster. I'm Hunter. You know what I mean? I am Hunter. And then set your stuff so when people come in, you're like, yo, and your sounds and your interactives are designed with Monster Hunter in mind. Like everything. So push into it. You know what I mean? If that's your thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm just using that as an example. But if that's your thing, push into it. Push into it. Push into it. Because the people that are enjoying it. Oh, and that's another thing. For you guys that are just starting, and you're at that 0 viewer area, or your 3 guys are coming in, or whatever. And remember, sorry, Jesus, this cat hair always gets me when I sit here. But anyway, if you're, like I said, you might be listening. You might even be doing Twitch. You could be doing anything. But if you're one of those guys, because I remember some people are like, oh hey, I'm a Twitch affiliate or something, and that's a whole nother thing because that means you basically dug yourself a pit. But exactly, right? So exactly, Psycho. That's why I say that way, because it's like we're getting that. Once you're at that point, that's something I can't help with. You know what I mean? That's a new level of problem or troubleshooting. You know what I mean? Psychological troubleshooting is a whole lot different than streaming troubleshooting. I'll help with the latter. So anyway, after you decide to push in on that, like myself, I push in on on the personality factor. I make sure it's always me. I try to put myself out there more on social media too, so that there's just more of it, and that it combines with what I'm doing now. That, like I said, that's just another part of the strategy, and more just because that's what I naturally did. That's just what naturally came. I was like, okay, this is probably what I should be doing. I just went with what came natural. Like for instance, dude, Fareeldoe. I'm JTFareeldoe, Team Fareeldoe. I've been saying Fareeldoe. I don't know, decade. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a word I used, a thing I said. That's been a thing that was mine for forever, since I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, since I was a kid, a teen, a young teen. You know what I mean? Like, that's not something I was like, hey, I looked up on Google, and apparently Fareeldoe is like a pretty good thing that'll get me views, man. Like, totally, like, there's, like, no. I just was like, dude, Fareeldoe. That's my word. I've been saying it forever. Like, I've been saying that for years. When I get excited, I'm like, oh, Fareeldoe! Like, I've been saying, like, that's been my thing forever. I, went on a lottery ticket. I'm like, yo, Fareeldoe, I won $20. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I've even been like, I've even said it as an exclamation. I've been like, oh, Fareeldoe. You know what I mean? It's just mine. It's mine. It's mine. And that's great. So I decided to make it more mine, and that makes it feel so natural. And it feels comfortable. $20. You know what I mean? And it feels like mine. But anyway, I used to do a show. Oh, so like I was saying a minute ago, this is an example, actually. I forgot. I actually wrote this. At the beginning of my streaming, right? I actually wrote this down to remind myself. I used to do short talk segments in the web show directory, like the one we're in now, during Fortnite updates. These shorts also kept my numbers. Yes, these shorts always, during a time that regularly things would disappear, because people are like, oh, I don't want to sit around waiting. I'm going to go play some games. I'll see you in a bit. During a time that would generally go down, right? My numbers always stayed the same or grew larger. During a time that almost everyone else was like, oh, I hate these updates. Everyone leaves and stuff, Those were almost my favorite times, and they still are, which is crazy. Which is, like I said, that's something I found. That was a strength I stumbled upon, a little nugget that I didn't know existed until I was there, and went, hey! And then I collected, and then I've returned every time. When updates happen, you'll see me there every time. I'll be in the directory, doing my thing, waiting it, because during that time, people like to talk about the games. This works for every game. So if you have a game that's updating, go into that directory and set up a hangout. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, if it doesn't work, you don't have to sit there all day. It's something that you're probably going to find a return on it right away. So if you give it a try and 5 minutes go by and people don't show, it's probably not going to work. But generally, it's a nice little strategy. But don't get me wrong, it only works if you're you can talk because you have to, and you can talk about that subject. That's part of it too. Because I noticed. So anyway, the reason why I'm saying that is I started to notice during those moments, someone would be like, "Hey, anyway, you excited for the update?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, actually, I am. I've heard about this." Like even recently with the season 4, I'm like, "Yo, there's superheroes. I love superheroes. I'm a big fan of superheroes." And then we started talking about superheroes. And then everyone's like, "Hey, who's your favorite superhero?" And I was like, "Dude, who's yours?" And it became this cool conversation about Avengers and Infinity War and all this stuff off of just kind of just doing our thing. And all it was is because I decided, you know what? Instead of leaving to play a different game, I'm going to stay in the Fortnite directory during its update and then meet people and talk Fortnite. And it ended up turning into an awesome time, growing, where everyone wanted to stay because everyone that showed up was like, hey, everyone's having a good time here. You know what I mean? Like, because we're like, someone show up and be like, oh man, Fortnite's down, this sucks. And I'd be like, yeah, it's cool, we're hanging out. Anyway, dude, isn't that crazy about, Deadpool about to come out? And they're like, yeah, you're like, whatever it is. And we're having a good time because then someone shows up and it's kind of like showing up to a party where you're like, dude, I hope this isn't going to be lame. And all of a sudden you open the door, right? And everybody's like, dude, this is so dope. Hey, it's you. And you're like, oh, word, yeah, what's up? And they're like, I've been waiting till you got here. And you're like, oh, you are? Oh, cool. And then you show up and you're happy too because everyone's waiting for you. And they're like, you're here too. This is so dope. And just out of nowhere, you're like, this is awesome. I'm here. I'm here. That's what ends up happening during those moments because I'm having a good time. I'm joking. We're laughing. And also people roll in and they're like, dude, let's do it. So don't get me wrong. That has to be there also. That has to exist also in order to do this. But anyway, that's something that I noticed. So that eventually turned into an understanding that people enjoyed my spoken content and not strictly my gameplay. You know what I mean? It was a value point that I stumbled upon by doing the deed. I was just streaming. I would say streaming. Everybody in the UK says streaming. I like it both. I like both of them. To be honest, every time someone from the UK is like, oh, I'm just streaming, I'm always like, I love it. I love hearing it. It's funny. I always want to be like, it's ing, but please don't ever say it with ing because I love hearing it say streaming. Have you ever noticed that? Listen to all the UK streamers. It's the best. It's like my favorite. They're like, all right, I'm just here today, just doing my streaming. It's never streaming. It's only a streaming. It's great. Like I said, I'm not making fun of it because I love it. Like every time it makes me grin. Like I don't know why, but I think it sounds the best. Thanks, dude. Thanks, DJ. Thanks, brother.
Oh hell no.
But anyway, just because let's see. Actually, you know what? We're coming up on what 40. Oh, just maximum. Oh, I didn't know that this app I'm using right now too, which is totally fine, because I can wrap up within the next 10 minutes. Apparently these segments can only be an hour. That's fine, but I'm gonna have to remember that these audio segments of MIXIN are gonna most likely have to be within 60 minutes, or it'll have to be that was part 1, and then which is fine. That actually is a great idea. I just came up with that now. Anyway, that's cool. So in the future, we might be doing part 1 and part 2s of these episodes when they're audio for any of the audio listeners out there. Anyway, let me finish up to the last little bit of what I was talking about. So me saying that with understanding that people enjoy my spoken content, not strictly my gaming, I want to point out that this may or may not be the same for each individual out there. You know what I'm saying? Hell yeah, dude. No problem. You're welcome for the advice and any time. And if you have any questions, hit me up. You know what I mean? Like I said, and it's not even questions too. If you have any thoughts, because I feel like this is something I'm particularly skilled at too. And this goes for anybody out there in Streamland. Remember, I'm mixer.com/JTFareeldoe. If you want to come by, I'm live most nights. So if you want to come by and ask questions or whatever, or even just chill, for gameplay wise, because don't get me wrong, I don't like saying chill because we're hype in my place. We're hype. So if you want to come by and get hype, then yeah. But anyway, good job. Thanks, my dude. Thanks. Yeah. And good job on the 100 views too. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, my dude. Hype, baby. Hell yeah. And that's what I'm saying. So, to wrap up, because like I said, this is I kind of made the points I was really wanting to make. To wrap up, make sure before you go through this little list, you can listen to this again or take a quick little note at those couple points that I made on how to basically kind of do a little bit of a baby. Hype on that 4.5. I know. I'm going for that. That's what I want, baby. I want that 4.5. I know, I'm looking for it. But anyway, we're on the way there. We're on the way. I mean, obviously, I'm looking for all of them. I want all those thousands. It's great. But that 4.5 is going to be nice, and then that 5 is going to be real nice. Because like I said, I remember when I started. Oh, real quick, it's just a quick little story. When I started, I know, right? I know. I that's what's been happening lately. I've been getting hundreds, by weekly now. And that's what honestly 10K is my goal. That's my actual goal of like. I think that if once I'm there, there's no way I won't be partnered. Like I don't think I've ever seen on Mixer yet ever a play streamer that has 10,000 that isn't partnered. You know what I mean? And then after that, hell yeah, baby, the world. Absolutely. But that's the goal. And when I say goal, I mean like a milestone goal. You know what I mean? 6 billion. Up we go. Just play it. But either way, to wrap up, remember, go through all your things. Really be as self-aware as you can be. And I understand not everyone is going to immediately understand that concept. And I know there's a lot of you out there that are immediately going to be like, I got you, JT. I got you. So for you people out there who know what I'm talking about, just be a little bit more self-aware and use that power. Use that ability that you have. You know, that ability to look at yourself and understand what you're doing. Because remember, not everyone out there has that. And that's going to be your first advantage. It's going to be your first advantage. Your ability to self-assess. You know what I'm saying? So use that. That is so day one, even though it seems like day 10. You know what I mean? With growth strategy, it seems like like an advanced level. It's day one stuff. So remember that. But anyway, my guys, before this goes too far, this is a little over 50 minutes, and I know I made the points I wanted to make right now. So I just want to point out, remember, guys, if you're listening to this, whether it's on Anchor, whether it's any of the podcast sites, YouTube, wherever it is. Remember, it's difficult for us new guys, and even if new guys, if you got quality from this, if you even liked it in any way, I know it seems like everyone says this, but I'm serious. Like really, you like share it because that's the killer. Like not enough people take the time to share it, and trust me, I do this for free. So my only ask is to share. Like tell your friend, like yo, dude, this is kind of dope. If I heard you wanted to stream, my dude kind of helps out with that stuff. And what's cool about it is if you listen to one of his podcasts or whatever. If you think, hey, that was dumb, or hey, I love that, you can tell him personally. No, I'm going to go to Fortnite after. Not only live, but you can message me on Instagram, Facebook, anywhere. And speaking of that, all my social media, it's JTFareeldoe. For anybody that just happens to hear this and not see it, it's JTFareeldoe. Fareeldoe. Fareeldoe. That's Fareeldoe. And remember that I'm everywhere, Instagram, all those places. And remember, the share is the important thing. Like I said, and if this is on YouTube, wherever it is, YouTube, the algorithm is too difficult to defeat. And that's another thing we're going to cover, because I covered directories a little bit. But next, either the next one or the one after that, we're going to be covering directories and algorithms, because that's another one of my little skills that it's just a weird little savant skill that I have that I've been able to use. That helps me understand the directories just in a weird, almost idiot savant. And it's funny to call yourself that, because it's weird. I somehow can just figure out, like, I mean, you guys have seen me do it. I've done it live. I've been like, hey guys, I think I'm about to be featured weekly about, and 10 minutes later I'm featured. And that's a weekly thing that you can't know what time. And it's like, I've done that multiple times. So. Anyway, that's just a little sneak peek on, like I said, the next skills that I want to help you guys with. Like I said, directory understanding and just a glance toward the algorithm, because I don't understand it fully. Like I said, it's not a full understanding. It's like being able to get the answer to a math problem, but having no clue how to do the math. It's kind of how it works. It's very strange. Anyway, you guys are beyond amazing. The past weeks have been better and better. And like I said, and without sounding too cheesy, it's amazing to be working towards my dream and feel like it's real and possible. And that each and every one of you that watches or listens to this is a part of it. Even if you feel like, hey, I just stop by once in a while, you're actually a part of it. And you're a big part of it. And I love you for it. So thank you. Even every one of you guys, even if it just seems like, dude, I just pop by and put my, I click the tab, you know what I mean? I click the tab open and walk away. Even if it's that, man, insane because literally that tab is a tab towards my dreams. You know? For you, it's a button click, and it's like, yeah, whatever. But with enough of those clicks, you literally made a miracle happen without knowing. So I know it's, like I said, I know it sounds goofy, I know it sounds cheesy, but it's 100% true, and that's the way I think of it. So thank you, because literally I think of every moment that you guys spend as literally you guys are like, hey, I'm going to take my time in order to help make a miracle that I'm trying to create. So thank you, all you guys, for helping me build a miracle. I will see you guys tomorrow, and like I said, I'm staying here live on Mixer, but as for the podcast, for if you want to actually catch me on Anchor, it's actually JTFareeldoe on Anchor as well. That's just a podcast only if you want to listen to this on your phone or anything like that. That already exists. This also will be getting put on YouTube. YouTube as well, but Spotify, all those places it will eventually go, but it takes time to get approved. So eventually this will be everywhere, but for now you can catch it on Anchor, and I believe Pocket Casts, is another place where you can catch this. But either way, also I wanted to, before it was over, is point out that I don't want to forget. I guess that live I'm going to be doing a this every Thursday, no matter what this, but I want to do 2 of these a week. So Thursday, sometimes I'll be having a special guest, but no matter what, Thursdays Eastern time, guys, usually around, I'd like to say around midnight, but it might be 11 p.m. but Eastern time, just so you know, because I know you guys are hearing this at a different time. Thanks Jack, thanks for saying that. And like I said, I'm heading out now, but for all you guys in the audio world, remember, please, if you catch me on Anchor, that's the other thing I wanted to say where I was gone. In addition to this, and it's something that I don't promote very often, but it's something that you really can only find if you go into my audio only stuff, is I do something called, this is Mixing Up on Mixer, episode 15, but I do something called MIXIN Bits, which are 5 to 10 minute episodes of this little, like, hey, this is here's a quick hint of something I noticed today, or here's an answer to a question that a lot of people asked. It's like an episode of this, but jammed into 5 minutes, so either way, if you're interested in that type of stuff, catch me on my Facebook, because I'll always have updates towards that stuff too, and my Twitter, which as always, it's JTFareeldoe, my dudes. So this is a segment of the Justin Taylor show called Mixing It Up on Mixer, episode 15, growth strategies, and it has been a lovely, lovely night. See you guys later.